All right, so let's create a new document, or canvas as Procreate calls it. A canvas is a great name for it because what you're going to be creating is artwork. So the first thing I'm going to do is click the plus sign at the very top right hand corner, and it will open up a panel here for a new canvas. Now Procreate will give you a number of pre-made canvas sizes that you can easily use if you wish. So now let's say though that I don't see what I want and I want to create my own size with dimensions that work for what I intend to use this for later. Alright, so I'm going to hit the plus in the little black icon here, and it opens up a custom canvas area where I can add my dimensions and my DPI. So let's start with that. For the first exercise, let's go ahead and create perhaps, let's say something for Instagram. That's easy because it'll be square. Alright, so for the web, things are measured in pixels. So I'll make sure that pixels are highlighted and it says PX up there. And I'll go ahead, let's do like maybe 1080 and down here 1080 pixels. And then for my DPI, oops, I don't want 300. That's way too high for the web. The standard is 72. So I'll put 72. And here's a cool thing. Procreate will tell you how many maximum layers you can use when you're using a canvas of this size. The next thing you need to be concerned with is your color profile. So over here is a little menu. I'm going to click color profile, and I have to choose between RGB or CMYK. RGB is for the web. That stands for red, green, blue. And CMYK stands for cyan, magenta, yellow, and black. And that's for printer's colors if I'm going to actually print something out. So Instagram is not printed out. It's on the web, it's on your mobile device, it's seen on digital screens, therefore it's going to be RGB. And for the color profile, I'm just going to pick the very first one, the sRGB IC blah, blah, blah. You can read that if you want. I'm just picking the first one, and I'm going to just go with that because it's just kind of a standard RGB format. Unless somebody tells me I need different, I'm going to stick with that. Alright, and then let's see. Also, if you want to, there's two other things you can do while you're in here. These are the most important things, but you could also set your time-lapse settings. Procreate will record your actions while you're painting within the program. And then later, it's really cool because you can export a little animation of you doing your work. And that is a great way to market yourself, or maybe just use it for entertainment or share with your friends. So here is where you can set the quality of that. Now, the higher the quality, the more RAM it's going to use on your iPad, so that's just something to keep in mind. Right now, I'm going to just stay with the default. And then you can also, if you like, you could change the canvas properties, the background color, or hide the background. So if you want to start with like a colored canvas, you can click here and pick any color that you want. The most important things are dimensions and color profile that I want to point out. And I have those already in here. I'm going to do 1080 by 1080 pixels, 72 DPI. And now let's go ahead and name the canvas, because then it'll save it as a little template that I can use later. Let's say this is a size I use often. So I'll go ahead and highlight this. Let's see here. And then I can click in there and I can name it. Oops, whoa. I'm going to name it 1080 pixels square. So I named that, and then I will hit create. And it opens it up within the program, and I can look. There's a square that I can start to create a little Instagram post. But now let's say I want to later use that for a pillow that is square. Well, too late. It doesn't have enough, it's low resolution, it's not the right size, and since it's a very small and low resolution, you can't enlarge it. Always know how many different ways you're going to use something, and if you think you are going to use it for something larger and higher resolution, then start with that, because you can always shrink down later, but you can't go the other way. You can't enlarge, because it'll start to pixelate, get those little squares, and it'll look really bad. So know what you want to do, and if you don't, start large, and then you can always reduce. So let's go back. This is great for if just strictly, to be seen on digital devices. Great. But now let's say I need to make some fine art prints, and I think the largest size I'm going to use is 18 by 24. That's actually a common size that I use. And so I'm going to create a template for that. I'll hit the little plus sign. We'll hit the other little plus sign here. And then, pixels, I want to change it to inches. Now, depending on where you are, your printer might use the metric system. Here we use inches. I love the metric system, but we use inches. But if you use metric, feel free to use that, whatever's common to your printer. Now, I have never had a physical printer ask me to give them something measured in pixels. I just haven't. Maybe you have. Then I guess you could use that. But generally, I'm going to say if it's something that's printed, it's going to be in inches or metric. So let's go ahead and add the size I'm going to use. Okay, so I've got inches, okay, and I'm going to use 18 by 24 inches, and 72 is way too low, so I need to change that to 300 dpi. That's high quality, high resolution. And look, too large. Well, that's because I accidentally put way too much over here. Okay, so let me do this, 24. Okay, there we go. Okay, so 18 by 24 by 300 dpi. And look, I get only 9 layers. But that's still plenty to work with. But I just have to be conscientious of that. Eventually, you may get too large for Procreate to print something. 18 by 24 is pretty nice, though. I use that for printing fine art prints, and then people can frame them and hang them, and I can make a little money and do the art that I love. So there we go. And then color profile. Okay, now colors, printers use CMYK. Those are printer's inks, cyan, magenta, yellow, black. But the thing is, and here's my little trick, and I recommend this, is CMYK is not natural to your monitor that you're going to be painting on, and it'll make your colors look a little wonky, maybe a little dull, and you won't really be able to see how you're really doing things. So I recommend starting with RGB, because that's natural to your monitor and you can see your colors better. And then later, when you finalized your design and you're ready to send it to the printer, later within the program, you can switch it to CMYK. and then send that file to your printer. And I will talk more about that in the export lesson at the closer to the end of the chapters. Okay, there we go. All right, so that's for fine art prints that are going to be very large. And I'll say create. And it opens it up within the program, and I can start painting and all that stuff. So that is awesome. I'm going to go back to the gallery, and let's just take a look at that menu once again for canvases. And if I go all the way to the bottom, look, here it is. Here's the 2 templates I made. Here's the 1080 pixel square for Instagram. So I've got a little template I can continue to use if I want. And here's the 18 by 24 artwork template that I made. And it tells me sRGB and the sizes and all that. Now let's say I don't want these templates in there. I can easily just swipe, and I can either edit or delete it. So there, I deleted that one. But then also over here are some artworks that I created when I made those templates. All right, so there you go. That's how to create some of your own canvases and do them correctly so that later all your beautiful work can be used for what you desire it to be used for.